The Protege is directed by Martin Campbell, who also directed movies like The Mask of Zorro, GoldenEye, and Casino Royale. Welcome to my review of The Protege, starring Maggie Q as the main character Anna, and she is joined by several co-stars that really make up the 90s and make up movies that I grew up watching. Michael Keaton, Sam Jackson, and Robert Patrick are all in this movie. Three guys who like I said, grew up loving in various different movies. You got Batman and Beetlejuice that I grew up watching. You got, obviously, the T-1000. And then you've got, well, Sam Jackson was in everything. And I could be wrong about this because I think the last movie Sam Jackson and Michael Keaton were in together was Jackie Brown, directed by Quentin Tarantino. And this movie really does feel like something that would go along I guess, the same kind of energy that Jackie Brown had. There's a lot of similarities here, but Martin Campbell is a director who does these types of action movies. It's pretty much an action suspense movie, and if I were to sum it up into one word, the word would be badass, because that's really what the movie tries to be, and it does succeed for the most part. Anna plays a very vicious assassin slash spy who works with Moody, played by Sam Jackson, as her mentor. After being discovered by Moody as a child in fear and running for her life, she grows up and is presumably trained by him to be an assassin and a mercenary. But when her home is attacked in a vicious drive-by shooting, she seeks vengeance and answers about who it was that tried to take her life. I have a lot to say about this movie because there's both good and bad about this film. Maggie Q, I think, does a pretty decent job playing Anna, but the issue with her is that even though she's been in some really good movies like Mission Impossible 3, Live Free and Die Hard, she was in the 2020 Fantasy Island movie, I feel like in this movie she's supposed to be the lead, but I don't think she has that much charisma, especially around people like Michael Keaton and Sam Jackson, who just steal the show every time they're on screen. But that's okay, because what Martin Campbell does intelligently enough is he tries to shroud all of that by focusing on action and suspense. If you like movies with guns, if you like movies where guys get their asses kicked, if you like movies with badass people with, martial arts mixed with explosions and just an action film, an action thriller, that's what you're going to get here. You're going to get assassins. You're going to get people getting taken out in very violent ways. I mean, this movie is really, really violent, and I'm not complaining. It is very heavy in the gore. But that's the audience, and that's what they're going for. And if that's what they're going for, they did a good job. Acting-wise, I thought the film was fine. Like I mentioned, the three co-stars. The issue with the movie that I had, the main issue with the film, and the good thing is, I will say this before I get to the bad stuff, the movie's not that long. It's about an hour and a half. It's a quick view. It's fun. It's a fun movie to watch. But there are issues. Number one, I feel like there's a couple of things in this movie that I find really stupid. There's a decision that she makes in the middle of the film involving Michael Keaton's character that I thought was really unrealistic and stupid. For somebody who's a trained killer, she does something, and when you see the movie, you're going to know what I'm talking about. And if you already saw it, then you do know. She does something that, I don't know, I thought it was kind of dumb, even though it has somewhat of a payoff at the end. It didn't make realistic sense to me, and the movie tries to be realistic. It's not extremely realistic because it's one of those films like Steven Seagal movies like Taken, where the protagonist is so good. I mean, she takes out 3 or 4 or 5 guys with guns by herself. We've seen this before, and I love these kind of movies. I mean, I grew up with these kinds of movies. I do enjoy watching them. They're really easy to watch. You don't have to overthink. You can just enjoy yourself and just chill. And that's not the problem. The issue is that she makes a really dumb choice. And also, later in the film, there's something that happens at the very end. I don't want to spoil it, but something happens at the very end. And I don't mean at the very, very end. I mean close to the end. That I thought was an unusual choice. I know why they did it, but it was an unusual choice that they went with. And the actual end of the movie, it just, I don't know if they were trying to copy, I don't know if they're trying to copy John Wick. I don't think they are, but it just really felt strange. It had a weird ending. Also, there's some very strange editing choices that were made here. You know, obviously Martin Campbell's made great movies, but I think he made I think, and again, what do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet. I think he made a bit of an error because you get more of her backstory closer to the end of the film, and I mean like the very end, even after like the big sort of third act setup, you get this extra backstory about how she, like the first time she actually decided to learn how to be a badass, if that makes sense. Like the first time as a kid, it's a flashback to her as a kid, she actually learned, you know, how to use a gun basically. And I thought it was a weird choice to put that at the end of the movie. I would have preferred they did that in the middle or close to the end before the third act, but they put it at the very end, and I kind of understand why. I think the message here is that when you pick up a gun and choose to live this life, it's not going to end up good for you. And that's really the message. I mean, that's repeated in the movie a lot too, that we all have to pay for our sins. Even if we do things for justice, even if we fight crime, even if we kill people who are seen as being bad people, we still kill. See what I'm saying? And it's not outwardly stated. You have to kind of read between the lines. And Moody, Sam Jackson's character, does bring it up. And they even have a discussion earlier in the movie where he talks about whether or not he's going to go to heaven or hell. And that's interesting. I mean, I like that kind of stuff, and I wish they would have fleshed it out a bit more. I got it. I got what they were going for, but I still thought that putting her flashback, like that part of it at the very, very end, was a very strange decision. And I'm not sure if I liked it, because by the time you get to the part where they actually show the flashback, you're already waiting for the movie to end. You're already like, okay, this is over. Where's this going to go? What's going to happen to her? And that's kind of something I thought was a bit, you know, odd. Also, when I first saw Robert Patrick on the screen, I was like, damn, I don't know if it's makeup or if he actually did age, but he does not look, he looks old in this movie, dude. I mean, he looks old. And I know he is old. I mean, he's not that old, right? How old is Robert Patrick? I can look it up right now. Robert Patrick is 62. He is much older than he looks. He looks older in this movie than he actually is, in my opinion. But that may have been done on purpose. Overall, I thought the movie was fun. It's a decent movie to watch maybe once or twice. It's not one I want to see multiple times. You know, if you've got the AMC gimmick where you can go see a movie whenever you want and you have like a couple hours to spare. Like I said, the movie's an hour and a half. You know, not including trailers. If you just want to go see a fun little flick and you have the little AMC gimmick, then go for it. But there are other movies now in theaters that I think are better. Free Guy, of course, Reminiscence. Those are both better films to go see, you know. And this one is like one of those red box films that you might want to rent and watch with your girl at night. To me, it's not worth going to see in the theater unless you really, really must see these types of action films, which I love, but a lot of times, you know, they're not really worth seeing more than once. Some are, don't get me wrong, the good ones are, but this one I thought was just decent. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing. So you choose to do what you want with your money, but if you have to pick one movie to go see in theaters, this is not even in the top 3 right now, in my opinion. So there's better flicks to go see. That's my review. Let me know what you thought about the movie if you saw it, and I'll talk to you soon.